Your fear of missing out, or FOMO, is holding you back. Hi, Locs. It's not even funny. Hi, Locs. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Ariel, and today I'm gonna be talking about the fear of missing out, or commonly known as FOMO. FOMO. But first, what is FOMO? Well, FOMO is the anxiety or stress-like feeling you get when you feel like you're missing out on something fun or exciting, commonly an event or trends on social media. Now, with the rise of social media, a lot of people probably experience the fear of missing out. They experience FOMO and they feel as if they're missing out on something, whether it's not being invited to an event or being invited to an event, but they're scared to decline because they don't want to miss out. They don't want to miss out on the memories, So FOMO arises in different ways, such as missing out on social media trends, missing out on certain parties or events that are going on, missing out on a concert, missing out on, if you're from the Caribbean, missing out on Carnival or a fete, missing out on the social media memes that are going around, right? And it might cause this stress or anxiety of not knowing, right? So as a person from the Caribbean, right, so I have experienced FOMO in terms of like certain fetes and events that go around, because there's always a new fete, there's always a new event that going on, right? But I want to use this example that I think a lot of Americans can probably relate to. I'm gonna more so talk about the Stanley Cup, basically. And I do have one. I got it this year actually, because the cup that I was using, it broke, and I was like, you know what, let me get a Stanley in green because I love green. It's my favorite color, right? But I remember when the Stanley Cup was reigning, how everyone wanted it, how it was being sold out everywhere. And in my head, I was like, what's so special about a cup? What's so special about a Stanley Cup? And up to this day, I honestly don't understand it. I have a Stanley Cup, and it's low-key just a normal cup. I like it. I love it. Like, I use it all the time because I love having a cup because it helps me drink more water. But I could have that with like any other cup that I've had before, right? So for me personally, I never got the hype. I also feel like FOMO causes overconsumption. So let's look into that. Now, what is overconsumption? Overconsumption is consuming something to an excessive amount that is honestly not healthy, such as alcohol. You're over consuming alcohol and stuff like that. But overconsumption in terms of materialistic items is very common as the rise of social media rises, right, in the 2000s and the 2010s. Now, things like certain trends, like obviously the Stanley Cup, or let's say iPhones. There are some people who get iPhones every year that they honestly don't need. We live in a world where overconsumption is very, very common, and people are just excessively buying things they don't need. And I know a lot of people can relate to that, right? But in terms of overconsumption, there are many trends that people have gone crazy over the years, such as the Popeyes chicken sandwich, right? Now, I'm not from America, so I couldn't try the chicken sandwich. So I was like kind of confused on what the hype was. Was the sandwich that good? Why are people fighting over a sandwich?
Every time people come up missing, the more and more people come up missing, the more they release more chicken sandwiches and shit. I'm noticing that.
Right? Why are people fighting over a Stanley Cup, right? And that kind of ties into the fear of missing out. They're scared to miss out on trying the new trends. They're scared to miss out on having the new trends. They're gonna see their friends with, a Stanley Cup, and they don't have one, so they're scared. They're like, oh, I don't have one. They feel they feel left out basically, and nobody likes to feel left out. As social media rises, the more overconsumption happens, right? Overconsumerism is not healthy, and it does tie in with the fear of missing out. You're overconsuming because you're scared of missing out on the new trends. You already have a cup at home. Why do you need a Stanley cup, right? Why does your 9-year-old need an iPhone 16? Why does your 9-year-old need retinol, right? Now, I don't think social media is bad for having trends, right? Trends are what introduce people to new things, such as new styles that they might like, right? Like when streetwear was popular, a lot of people like that style, and some people still have that style to this day. I mean, streetwear was popular way back in the day, but obviously it came back. Or low-rise jeans, right? I don't think it's a bad thing for social media to have these type of trends that are introducing young teenagers too, that they are introducing young teenagers too, because teenagehood is where you're finding yourself and your identity. It's good for people to find things that they like, right? I don't think it's a bad thing. I only think it gets bad when it gets to a point that people get so scared of missing out that they damage themselves and their pockets for something that they don't even need, right? They don't need, but they're so scared of missing out on that thing that they feel like they have to buy it. They feel like they have to have it, even if that's honestly not the case. Now, I want to talk about the fear of missing out in Caribbean culture and in Fed, right? I feel like in Caribbean culture, people make it seem as if you're boring for not, and this is not only for Caribbean culture, honestly, this is for all social and party events in general. People make you seem as if you're boring for not going to a fete. People make it seem like you're boring for not wanting to stay home instead, right? People make it seem as if you're boring for genuinely just enjoying your own company. People make it seem like you're boring if you don't want to drink. People make it seem like you're boring because you don't want to get drunk. People make it seem like you're boring because you don't want to smoke, you don't want to do drugs, right? All of these things cause the fear of missing out, and it makes people feel pressured into doing these things for them, especially young teenagers, because young teenagers are and young adults, because they're also very easily influenced by these things. Now, for me, right, I was more of a shy person growing up, right? More reserved and stuff like that. But like, you really just have to get to know me for my fun side to come out for it. Like, I'm fun, but it's like if you just meet me, I'm probably not gonna talk to you unless you talk to me. But anyways, when it comes to Carnival, also again, like, yes, I went to Carnival when I was like with my mom and my friend, like when I was like younger in high school. Again, I was never used to jumping up or stuff like that. Like, I just wasn't used to that personally. And yeah, as I got older, still with Carnival, like last year I went on the Monday, and then my mother went on the Tuesday, but I went on the Monday, and honestly, it was cool. It was nice. It was like a little lime, and yeah, it was cool. But again, I was still trying to get out my comfort zone. Again, I wouldn't say I was stiff, but it's like sometimes I be feeling stiff. I don't know if anyone else can relate, but I be feeling stiff, like sometimes when it comes to jumping up and stuff. And now Carnival coming up next year, 2025, and again, I decided, okay, I don't know if I'm gonna go. I don't think I'm going to, but it's like I just decide, like, am I missing out for not? And it's like I always try to see, like, okay, well, she was in a Carnival costume. Oh, well, she went to Carnival. She probably had a good time. Like, maybe it's like I always have, like, it's like I used to really, and right now I don't really have that anymore. But it's like I always used to be like damn, like, why, like, I wish, like, I was there. I wish I was doing this, knowing that deep down I probably don't even want to go or be there for real, right? It's just the anxiety that you get from missing out on something that everybody else is talking about, that everybody else went, right? Now, why is your fear of missing out, or FOMO, holding you back? Well, from the things I've explained, first of all, obviously overconsumerism. Yeah, over consumerism not only like is wasteful, I would say, but them pockets are running dry. And in this economy, the job market is not looking too good and stuff like that. There's no point in buying things that you just don't need. And even if you are rich, there's no point in buying things that you don't need. It's just wasteful, right? Like, because then you're gonna buy it, the trend is gonna die out, and then you're never gonna use it again. You're gonna even forget that it existed, right? And then also the fear of missing out, it causes you to compare yourself, right? It makes you feel as if like you wish you were them. Like let me play out a scene. There's this event or fete going on and no one invited you. You decide, like, nobody invited you and you didn't even know it was happening, but nobody invited you. So you're home and then you're scrolling through social media or watching people's stories, and then you see somebody that you know, right, or somebody that you're following, they went, and you're like, oh, I didn't know there was an event going on. I didn't know there was a fete going on. Like, it almost makes you compare yourself to them, because it's like, I wish I was invited. Like, I wish I was her, where, you know, she was invited and, you know, she knows all these people that would invite her to things and so on and so forth. Or it just causes you to compare your life to somebody else that you don't even really know their life. Even if you know them personally, that doesn't mean that you know their life. The fear of missing out causes you to kind of neglect yourself. It causes you to neglect your needs, right? You're so caught up in worrying about missing out on something, missing out on the new trends, that it kind of neglects the important things, the actual important things in your life, like your work, your school, your job, or just your goals in general, you know, your self-care. Like, for example, you're studying for a test or something, or you have work tomorrow, and you're like, and there was this event going on, and you didn't go to that event, and now you feel as if now you have this stress and anxiety that you're missing out on it, right? Even if you know you have important things to do and more important things to do than going out to a fete or to a party, right? Even when it comes to social media, like, I know some people do social media detoxes, but even those detoxes can make you feel like you're missing out, because as you delete the app, there are probably new trends and new jokes that are going on that you might not know about. And now you're like, if somebody tells me that in public or something, like, I'm not gonna know, and they're gonna think I'm so lame and so on and so forth, when that just might not be the case. Because, and even if they do think you're lame, so what? You are deleting on social media because you're detoxing yourself. You're focusing on your self-care. So which is more important, your self-care or not knowing a certain social media trend? Your self-care or going to an event where you're probably going to be miserable, right? Why would you waste your time when you know you have other things that you can use it on, rather than wasting your time on an event that you're not going to enjoy, and you know you're not going to enjoy it? The fear of missing out causes stress, anxiety. It makes you feel as if you're forgotten. It makes you feel as if, what if, like, nobody likes me, they didn't invite me to this, right? It makes you feel left out, and nobody likes to feel left out, right? It makes you compare yourself and compare your life to other people. It makes you neglect the important things that you need to do. It makes you neglect actually looking in with yourself, looking into yourself and focusing on yourself. You're more focusing on external factors rather than internal factors. And that is kind of holding you back in life, because whilst you're focusing on those external factors, you could flip that and use that time to focus on yourself and to better yourself and to grow into a way better person that you know you're actually going to be happy and content and peaceful with, right? Be happy that you missed out, because now, instead of wasting your time doing something that is not that important, you're wasting your time on bettering yourself and bettering your life and evolving and elevating your life. Don't let your fear of missing out hold you back, because you're a great person filled with potential, and you could be growing and elevating that potential. So that's the end of the video. I hope you guys enjoyed. And yeah, as I said, don't let the fear of missing out and overconsumption ruin your life. Don't make it hold you back, right? because you deserve to branch out in this world and be successful and do the things that you are meant to do.
I feel like a lot of times we see exactly what we are in the world around us. In some ways, I think that we attract what we are. And that's not just to say, like, if you're a bad person, bad things will happen, like in a karmic sense. And it's in a sense that, you know, how you feel about yourself is often proportional about how you feel about the world.